Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be teaching you all how to go about the sewing of this beautiful overlapped shared gown you see right here at the side of the screen. So it has ruffles at the shoulder part, as you can see right there, and it has straps that goes all the way from the armhole to the other side of the armhole. It's a 100% beginners friendly tutorial. This is a tutorial you definitely don't want to miss out on. With that much being said, let's get started with today's tutorial. Basically, the detailed drafting tutorial of this particular outfit has been dropped on the channel. The thumbnail is right here on the screen, and the link to the tutorial will also be in the description box in case you are yet to watch out the first part of this tutorial, which is very important because you would not understand anything we are doing right here in the second part, which will be the sewing part, if only you are yet to watch out the first part of the tutorial. But if you've gone ahead to watch out the first part, you are totally free to continue watching the second part of the tutorial. So we went about the detailed process in the drafting and also the cutting. Then we also added all our stitching allowance and then transferred this to our fabric, that is after drafting on the pattern paper. So now I'm removing my pattern paper so that I can start joining all of this my piece. So now I flip the front upper part of this my gown to the wrong side facing the camera. Then I'm going to be folding this inside. From the right side, I'll be folding this inside on this longer neckline part, as you can see right here. So I'm folding it twice using just quarter of an inch, and when I'm done, I'll stitch this down. Make sure you do this for the both parts of the front part of the gown, okay? Now this is for the back. I'm simply going to remove my pattern paper as well. I'll flip this to the wrong side of the fabric, and at the top part I'm just going to fold this in twice as well. So when I was done with that, this is for the front part. Don't forget to actually notch the center of your front upper dress, okay? If you watch the drafting tutorial, you already know what I'm talking about, so you can see my notch as well. So that center of our dress, don't forget to notch it. Now as I've made this notch, the right side of this front part of my dress facing the camera, I aligned this notch I have for this upper part of my dress right here. So you can see that they align properly at the base and the notches are aligning as well. So one part of the front part of our dress is going to be on top of the other, as you can see right here clearly. So when you are done with that, go ahead and pin and now join these both together right here at the base. So now I'm done with this, I'll go on ahead now to get my band, because this dress actually has a band which we cut out. This is what we have here. So you know, when you're cutting out your band, it's going to be slanted because of our waist is sort of narrow, okay, compared to our bust. So that is the reason why I notched one part and the other part I slashed it. So the part I notched is the part that is beginning the cuff part, okay? So right side of my band, on that notch I have facing the right side of the front part of my fabric, I'm going to be pinning this way. So when I'm done pinning, I'll go on ahead and join or stitch this together using just half of an inch. So by the time I stitch this, I'll flip this to the front side, or the right side, sorry, so that you all can see what it will look like, you see. So that's just what I'm going to do. So I've done that, and you can see how nice it's looking already. So I don't want to add any lining to this particular dress, just in case you're not working with an Ankara print fabric, okay? So the next thing I went ahead to do is to cut out this piece, which is 2. All right, in length it is about 24 inches long, and in wideness is about 7 inches wide. So all I'm going to be doing now is to be stitching all around this piece by folding in twice, all around the side, the top part, all around. Like I said, when I'm now done, I'll flip it to the right side, and at the middle I'll run an uninterrupted gather stitch. Remember, I'm doing it for the both of this piece I have. So back to the body part of our dress, the next thing is to join the back part of our dress to the front part. Right sides facing each other, I'm going to start aligning them at the armhole, ensuring that they align at the sides, the armhole, and also the base, and I'll go on ahead to pin. After pinning, I'll be marking my swing or my stitching allowance of 1 inch. But before I go ahead to do this, from the armhole, I'll be coming down by at least 1 inch. So when I come down by 1 inch, I'll now start stitching from that 1 inch all the way to the base. The reason for coming down by 1 inch from the armhole is for the fixing of our strap to be easy. Okay, I also do this in the case of fixing our normal sleeve. So that's how I always do my stitch to both sides of this, and I'll show you all what I have left. So now remember that when we calculated our strap, it is actually 3.5 for the front, and for the back it is 5.5 inches. Remember that this 0.5 inches is half, so let's say 3.5 and 5.5. So when I added these two together, I had 9 inches. So these 9 inches, we are going to be taking note of that. Okay, remember 9 inches for the front and the back neck depth. So the next thing I'm going to be calculating or measuring here will be the armhole. So this is for the back armhole. I took the measurement and I have 7.5 inches right there as the armhole. Then for the front armhole, I also took the measurement as well. What I have there is 8 inches. So this 8 inches plus 7.5 inches will be getting 15.5 inches if I'm not wrong, right? Then we're going to be adding it together with the 9 inches, which is for the front and the back neck depth. So when I add this together, I'll be having 24 inches. Yes, as you can see right here. So meaning that I'm going to be cutting out a long piece that is 24 inches long, and it's going to be 2 because the 2 is for our strap. So this is what I have now, and I'll measure it out so you guys can see 24 inches long, and for the wideness is about 1 inch and quarter. Okay, 1 inch and quarter is 100% okay for the wideness of your strap. So all I'm going to be doing now is that I'll be placing this strap, the right side of this strap facing the wrong side of the armhole of this my dress. So let's assume that I've already gone ahead to stitch the sides. You know, this is a tutorial. If I'm doing all that going and come, is really going to take a whole lot of time. So all I'm just doing here is show you all what you're supposed to do. So like I said, the right side of your strap facing the wrong side of your armhole. Okay, the right side of your strap, that's the right side of your fabric, facing the wrong side of your fabric on the armhole. Then I'm going ahead now to pin. So when I pin this and I got to that top part, just going to stop right there. Now remember what I said earlier, for the front and the back neck depth, we already calculated 9 inches. So after pinning for the armhole, I'll go on ahead now to measure out 9 inches from that top part, just exactly where that armhole started from the top part of my neckline. Remember, we already did the calculation, don't get confused. So from there I'm going to be measuring out 9 inches. So if yours is deeper than 9 inches, go on ahead and make the same calculation as well. So I made a mark right there. Now from that mark I have, I'm going to continue pinning for the back armhole. Okay, making sure that the right side of my strap is on the wrong side of the armhole of my dress. So you can see what I'm doing right here now. That 9 inches exactly, I'm now pinning it on this armhole. So I'll do this, and when I'm done, I'll go on ahead and stitch it down. Okay, firstly I'm going to be stitching down my strap together with my armhole first for the both sides or the two parts of my armhole. Okay, so now you can see that other piece I told you I'll be using for a ruffle, and I've already worked on one. Don't be scared, we'll be doing it together. Okay, so I just did this one behind the camera for one part of the sleeve. You see how beautiful and nice it's looking. So for the other side, we'll be doing it together. So now I've gone ahead to stitch my strap and my armhole together. It's not nice we leave it this way, right? So all I'm going to be doing is to be flipping this my strap to the right side of my fabric, now to be sitting on the right side, so you can see like this. We turn it. Now it's sitting on the right side of the fabric on my armhole. Then all I'm going to be doing now is to be folding in this strap. So the rough edge, I'm going to fold it, and then you can see, and now fold it again. So make sure that it's sitting on the right side of your armhole for this second stitch. I'm now going to go ahead to stitch from the armhole all the way around to the other side of the arm. So this, at this point, we are not skipping this other longer part of the strap. We'll be folding it in twice as well, the same way um I've done it for the armhole. Okay, so I'll fold it in twice all the way to the other side of the arm. Just watch what I'm doing right here. There's definitely no way you'll get confused at all. So after stitching that, you can see how nice our strap is looking so far. The next is to work on this piece right here. Remember, I already have a gather stitch at the middle of this piece. Now I'm just slightly pulling on them so it doesn't cut. And when I'm done pulling, I want to have 7 inches length of these ruffles right here, because that's the same length with the other side of the ruffle. Okay, so after taking the measurement, it's all left for you to know how pronouncing what your ruffles to be. You can make your ruffles piece longer, so that when you now run your gather stitch, it can be more pronounced. The longer it is, the more pronounced it's going to be. So now from the front armhole at that top part, for this other side, I measured about 3/4 of an inch before stitching this ruffles. So you can see here I'm taking the measurement as well, so that the both ruffles can align, because one thing with sewing is that you definitely want to achieve the same effect when you are sewing at both sides of your dress, else you wouldn't like the outcome. Okay, so now make sure that you're pinning that center of this your ruffle, okay, exactly on your strap. So when you want to stitch, now flip it like this to the wrong side. So this is the wrong side of my ruffle now. Okay, so the reason you're going to turn it like this to stitch is for you to actually not to make a mistake. Make sure you're stitching exactly on the middle, on that middle part where you run your gather stitch. Okay, so then after that, I'm still going to go on ahead to fix the first tier of my gown. So remember, we already did all the calculation and the cutting in the sewing part. I have my notch on my band, and I also have my notch at the center of this my first tier. I've also gone ahead to run a gather stitch at that top part, which I'll be pinning together with this base of my upper part of my gown. Right sides facing each other. The notches are matching, because I always do this whenever I'm gathering any dress to any part of my fabric, so that I can achieve the same volume of gathers at both sides. Now I pin the two notch parts right sides facing each other, and I also pin the end. So the excess I have on this first tier of my gown, I'll make sure I gather it on this base on this side of my dress. If my explanation is not so clear or confusing, I believe that everything I'm doing right here is very clear to you all. So when I'm done with one part, I'll just move on to the other side of my gown. So I'll also do the same thing right here. So when I'm done, I will now stitch it down using just um 1/2 inch. Okay, so it's quite easy and simple to make. All right, so stitch using just 1/2 inch, and when I flip it to the front side, this is what it looks like. I don't want my gathers to be so um bulky or too much, let's just say too much. So for also the base of this my tier, this is what it looks like. On the base as well, I notched the center part. That is why I'm being so particular with all of this. I don't want one part looking fuller than the other parts after gathering this. Okay, now I also went ahead to run a gather stitch at that top part of the second tier of my gown. Right sides facing each other, I also gone ahead to pin. So I'm going to be repeating the exact same thing I did for the part I pinned to the base of this my half length, and I'll also gather as well. Take your time to do this. It actually doesn't take time, and at the end of the day, I'll also show you all what I have. So when you're done doing this, go on ahead and hem the base and also fix your zipper. Don't also forget to fix your zipper. So I'm left with multi-colors of any choice and color of zipper I want to fix to this, because of the multi-colors I have right here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time on this same channel. Have a lovely time ahead of you. Bye.